Errol Spence shows off the big money he won off of Saturday night's main event between Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. And we also gonna talk about the message that was sent directly to Terence Crawford. Make sure that you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook on it. So this Saturday night, it was lit all the way around. I mean, we had the return of PBC on Amazon Prime. And let me tell y'all, I hope y'all watched that event. If y'all didn't pay and watch that event, y'all missed out because, yeah, that was a hell of a fight card. I gotta honestly say, that was one of the best fight cards that PBC has put on in years, from top to bottom. And it shows real boxing fans that it don't always have to be the biggest names to give you the best fights. Because a lot of times, with the biggest names, it definitely don't live up to the hype. But on Saturday, they didn't really have that much hype around them fights because a lot of them wasn't big names. But hey, they did their thing for sure. And I enjoyed every second of it, as well as all the fans. Everybody that I'm hearing the feedback from, they enjoyed the event. But with all that being said, let's get down to the nitty gritty, what y'all clicked on this video for, what y'all really want to get into and talk about. Now, EJ, yes, he finally made his return. People say that he been hiding out ever since he got whooped up by Bud. But he jumped in that ring and he let Sebastian Fundora know, yeah, I'm winning both ways, because not only did I win big money off of betting on you to beat Tszyu, I'm also winning because you next. Yeah, it's still strap season, and I'm coming for them straps that you got now. And, you know, they took pictures, they posed in the ring and all of that. But EJ, we heard it. He said, hey, man, I'm going to chop him down. You know what I'm saying? This man down once again, and he ain't effing with me. I'm back. And hold up, I know some of y'all are like, what about Crawford? What about Crawford? Y'all bite blood out your bottom lip. And I know y'all waiting to see what's my take on Terence Crawford and what the message that was sent to Terence Crawford was. I'm going to get into that. Just hold on for a second. But like I said, man, EJ came up and he came up big because he bet on the underdog. A lot of people, including myself, felt that Tszyu was going to beat Fundora. But Errol Spence always felt that Fundora was going to be the one to come up with the victory. And he bet big money on Fundora. And he wasn't hiding it. Yeah, he was flaunting that ticket in front of the camera, letting everybody know, yeah, I came up big time off of this one. EJ got lucky. I'm going to keep it a buck, because EJ wouldn't have came up off of a damn thing if that elbow hadn't happened. Because yeah, that's why Sebastian won. I don't want to take nothing away from him, you know, because he did fight a smart fight. Usually Fundora, he want to bang on the inside and just throw non-stop punches, and he stayed on the outside. He used his length, he used his jab, and I never seen him do that. So he fought a smart fight. But he was getting dominated. He was trying to fight that same fight that he was fighting throughout the fight in the beginning, but it wasn't working because Tszyu was timing him. Tszyu was able to see his punches coming. Tszyu was able to gauge the distance and get in his range, and he was dominating Fundora for the first 2 rounds. I know that ain't really saying much because y'all like, okay, well, that was only 2 rounds. But we could see how the fight was playing out. The fight would have not played out the way it did if Tszyu hadn't suffered that cut and he couldn't see. You know, he's having the white blood from his eyes at the same time while trying to block punches at the same time with trying to get in range and get off his punches, you know, against a man that's punching you from the other side of the building that's 6'7" or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not easy. So salute to Tszyu. But Tszyu's corner, they failed him. They should have stopped the fight. The commission should have stopped the fight, but I knew why the commission didn't stop the fight, because it's a huge event. It's the first event on Amazon Prime, and they felt like that they couldn't stop the fight in the second round when they had everybody show up, paid good money to see the event, when the event already had took a major hit with the main biggest known fighter that was on the whole card had to pull out in Keith Thurman. So they felt like, man, they can't afford for nothing else to go wrong. And imagine if they had to stop that fight in the second round. You know what I'm saying? Right after the second round. Everybody showing up excited because the whole card was lit. And then you get to the main event and you got to call the fight short. But for business purposes, they let it go on. But that's when Tszyu's corner, they supposed to do their job and protect their fighter and protect the fighter's O, because now he got a loss on his record that he shouldn't have because his team didn't do their job. They knew they couldn't stop the bleeding. They should have stopped the fight. It would have been a no contest, and then Tszyu would have kept his strap, and they would have had an immediate rematch. So now, Tszyu, he got an L on his record, and a lot of people feel, because I've been hearing people talk, they feel like that now that Errol Spence is in the picture, that Tszyu is going to get pushed to the back of the line. He going to have to go back over there in Australia, and they just going to forget about him and act like that he don't exist no more. But I don't agree with that. I hear a lot of people saying that. I don't agree with that because I know that Tszyu and his team, they have a great working relationship with Al Heyman. And when you do right by Al Heyman, he's going to take care of you. So I think they still going to take care of Tszyu. And whenever he's ready to come back, they're going to throw him right back in the mix. As far as the immediate rematch with Sebastian Fundora, I don't see that happening because we seen that Tszyu didn't even ask for a rematch, right? And they don't have a rematch written in contract. They have a verbal agreement. Now, Sampson said that he's a man of his word, and if Tszyu wants the immediate rematch, that's what they'll do. But it ain't gonna happen because Tim has to heal, and that cut is gonna take a long time to heal. I'm hearing that cut is gonna take at least 3 months just to heal up. And then after that, you still got, to get in training camp and all of that. So I believe that Tszyu is gonna heal up. He gonna take an interim fight, and then he'll get back, and he'll probably face the winner of Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence. Oh yeah, that fight gonna happen. And now we're gonna talk about the message that PBC and Errol Spence is sending to Terence Bud Crawford. See, does Terence Bud Crawford deserve the fight? You know what I'm saying? Well, he put in his petition, right, for the WBO strap. And they're going to mandate Sebastian Fundora to either drop the strap or fight Terence Bud Crawford. But you heard what Sebastian Fundora's team said. They said, nah, they going after the big money. They going after Errol Spence. Errol Spence is the only one that could do 90+ thousand in Dallas Cowboys Stadium. That's what Sebastian Fundora's manager, Sampson, said, right? A lot of people don't like that. But he's telling the truth because no matter what you think and how you want to talk about it, Errol Spence is still a bigger draw than Terence Bud Crawford. Nobody is saying that he's the better fighter, but he's a bigger draw. And we know boxing is a business before anything. And the message that they're all sending to Terence Bud Crawford is that in order to be in good standards with the PBC and everybody that does business with us, you got to be willing to do good business with us. And Bud Crawford wasn't willing to do that. When Bud Crawford and Errol Spence was negotiating, he took advantage of Errol Spence, knowing that Errol Spence was willing to do anything to make that fight happen. So he took advantage of the situation, demanding all type of outrageous shit in order for the fight to take place, or else it wasn't gonna take place. He ended up getting 50-50 split when Errol Spence, he was the big sell. He the one that had done all of the heavy lifting. So he got his way with not only Errol Spence, he got his way with the PBC. And I think a lot of this is Errol Spence saying, ha ha ha, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting the last laugh. But we're going to get into Errol Spence fighting Bud Crawford because he ain't going to get off the hook like that, especially for me. But back to Terence Crawford and his business, right? And then, right, after he went and fought Errol Spence and won, he still didn't want to do good business with the PBC after admitting that the PBC do great business, right? They tried to get him to fight Jaron Ennis. He refused to fight Jaron Ennis, saying that Ennis didn't bring nothing to the table, while he's still, at this very moment, holding 3 straps at 147. And then from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, they brought up several other big name opponents on the PBC roster for Crawford to go into a fight with, and he refused to sign a contract. They was trying to get him to sign a 2-fight deal, right? And he didn't want to. He was bragging about being a free agent. Only fight that he wanted to fight at one point was Canelo, and Canelo had to shoot that down. So he's not doing good business. So you can't expect the PBC to cater to Terence Bud Crawford and look out for him and give him a shot at them straps at PBC fighters when he refuses to do business with them. And when it comes to Errol Spence jumping in front of Bud Crawford in fights that he knows that Bud Crawford is trying to get, well, he like, hey, you ain't do good business with me, you know? You tried to take advantage of me in negotiations because you knew how bad I wanted to fight. And he did that, right? Now, when it comes to a lot of people complaining, they bitching and crying, talking about Errol Spence is out here looking like a coward and all of that. He ducking Bud Crawford. Now, I don't agree with that because Errol Spence ain't never been no coward. He ain't never ducked nobody. Now, if you ask me, do Errol Spence need to fight Bud Crawford? He absolutely does need to fight Terence Bud Crawford. You could call him a duck if you don't fight him. But see, I know how Errol Spence moves, and he plays chess, not checkers. You feel me? It looks like what Errol Spence is trying to do, he's trying to get the strap from Sebastian Fundora, right? And it'll probably only be one strap on the line because I believe that Sebastian Fundora is probably going to have to drop that strap if he decides to, the WBO strap, if he decides to fight Errol Spence and not Bud Crawford. And that's cool. They ain't worried about that, right? Because they more so worried about having a big stadium fight with big money on the line. And that's what Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence will be in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So EJ, if he beats Fundora, he'll get the WBC strap. Terence Crawford will end up having to fight the next ranked opponent in the WBO that's next to him, right, for a vacant title. Bud will get that vacant title, and somewhere down the line, I guarantee you, if Errol Spence does his job and beats Sebastian Fundora, he's going to be calling out Bud Crawford for that rematch. You know what I'm saying? He got to. Because he going to look bad out in these streets if he don't run that run back. If he don't at least try to get his get back. So, to me, that's what it's looking like. Anyway, I know a lot of y'all mad, but business is business. And Bud Crawford, hey, you can't burn bridges and you got to do good business with people. Let me know what y'all think. Jump in the comments. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. Diego talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.